Hello, and welcome. It's Siege of Limerick coming to you, brought by Falshire Ireland, Bank of Ireland, and 5 Ultimate, all giving us the kit and funding that lets us come to you live through our YouTube channel. So far, the GB Under-24s have broken upwind against Ranelagh. How do you think that's going to affect Ranelagh's performance in this game?
I think that's a really interesting way to start the game. Ranelagh came out, it's a bit of a crosswind, slightly up and downwind. Ranelagh were looking to strike deep immediately. I think they're trying to avoid too many short fields. But rolling the dice didn't work out for them, and GB were very patient, got a nice backhand deep look up the sideline and eventually punched it in with a risky inside shot. I think this is an interesting match, a bit of a grudge match, seeing as I know all the Irish lads don't really enjoy losing to any GB teams, especially a national team. So Ranelagh will definitely be out for blood here.
Yeah, I can imagine that, especially a GB team early on in the cycle, you'd really be hoping, as one of the premier teams in Ireland and of Europe, that you'd be looking to take this down. Ranelagh on the disc, setting up in a hoe stack, sends the disc long. Is he going to... Doesn't quite get there, overshoots it upwind. GB Under-24 to get the disc back.
Yeah, that was, I think, a nice look from Ferdy Rogers there, looking for Derek Kelleher deep. He's a tall man, and Ferdy has definitely got a cannon off a backhand on him. So not a bad look there. Unfortunately, didn't work out for them, but they've got it all the way up the other end of the field, and we'll look to, I think, go with quite a flat mark and try and turn them up here.
Yeah, it's looking like Ranelagh's coming out in a one-on-one matchup. I would have expected a zone, but if they're going to back themselves, just as he's going to back himself deep, does he get the jump in? Not quite. Looking for his receiver in the end zone. Doesn't quite get there. Pops it in to the emo player. GB Under-24 go 2 breaks up. And I would have to say that's not the start I was going to be expecting.
That is not the start. You saw at the start of that point, Matthew Feely looking to poach into the lane and get GB to have to throw some short passes sideways. And as soon as they got that first swing, GB, with a little bit of space on the mark, took a big inside look. Very spicy throw, very well executed.
So I think Ranelagh's just called a timeout. And while they're, working out what to do, if you're working out what you want to eat, Just Eat, Ireland's speedy ordering food delivery service, feeding the hungry Ultimate players across Limerick this weekend. Or if you're quite cold and looking for kit, 5 Ultimate. Thank you to 5 Ultimate for their continued support of the Siege. 5 have now provided us with the highest quality Ultimate apparel for quite a few years now, and here in Limerick swear by their brand. So it's looking like GB Under-24 are putting the same line out again, and, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, it's definitely working out for them. They're attacking deep quite aggressively, and so far, Ranelagh just haven't had an answer. They haven't been tight enough on those deep shots going away. I think they'll look to maybe back their receivers a bit more here to try and stop some of that coming up.
You do have to think that for Ranelagh, fairly, as one of the better teams here and a team that's played together for a long time, I think they'd definitely be looking to punch this one in now on the 3rd attempt. Yeah,
definitely. And you'll see they have quite a tall athletic line out here. Sam Murphy, definitely standout player on Ranelagh, was their top scorer at WCC. He's quite a tall lad, and the rest of their cutters down there in the stack are all quite tall, so I think maybe that's a response to the GB deep threat and success so far.
So Owen Binchy taking the disc up to the brick mark, coming out in a hoe stack again. Quite a flat throw there, looking for the end zone. Comes up short.
Yeah,
but they are on the downwind side, so it's going to be that much easier for them to get the turn here.
That was a pretty nice initiation there. We saw Sam Murphy get open on that under turn around and immediately look for the player that started in a pepper mill with him and try and hit him deep.
GB Under-24 looking to get off the sideline. Just about get there. Still looking to get fully off the sideline though. Jacking it deep, looking for the receiver. He has the time on the line and pops it in. 3 breaks in a row for GB under 24.
And that is not the plan that they came out with. After they turned it over there, all of the downfield defenders were standing deep of their men to start with. I definitely think they were trying to stop them getting that deep action off, and then I believe it was Dave Ferguson just maybe gave his man a couple of steps deep, and GB put a fantastic backhand out into space.
So it looks like one of the teams has called a timeout again. And as we look at the replay, acres of space out in front of him for him to run onto the disc, and then it's an easy pop pass in the end.
Yeah, and that backhand was so well executed in that it came out with a nice amount of IO, which meant it flattened out and just sat in front of the receiver instead of trying to throw it flat to start with and having it turn over with the wind gusting over towards the camera. It really just sat out into space for him, and he had lots of time.
It's interesting to see, though, that this slightly slow start, especially looking down the list of previous clubs from Ranelagh, people like Fadia Rogers, formerly of Sockeye, or looking down, there's a long list of just very good players who have played a lot of club, as opposed to the mainly university experience of the GB under 24 squad.
Yeah. I mean, Ranelagh this year haven't gone into training yet. They haven't gone through their trial process. So it is a less formal and less drilled team they would have at the end of their season. But I mean, GB under 24s are in the same process. One thing I would say for these university lads is that they've been playing all winter, training with their university clubs, whereas you'll see a lot of club players will take an entire winter off. So sometimes maybe those under 24 squads can come out quite strong at the start of the year just because they're in ultimate mode already.
So GB under 24 changing up the line. I think one of the big danger men on this line is going to be Anthony Vassell, number 12, the tall guy, as well as number 74, Tom Davies, both of top-tier universities. Vassell from University of Birmingham and Davies from Sussex, both big men, and in these conditions, that's one of the important things.
And that is a great pull, pinning them right at the downwind back corner. Oh, not even at the corner.
Ranelagh trying to get out of it, jacking it up. Just about comes down with the disc, exactly as planned. That's calculated offense if I've ever seen it. There's a stoppage.
Oh, he's broken his boot.
His boot's fallen apart. That's Liam Fletcher, formerly of Hammer Time. And finally, in a jabber-free team.
Limo's definitely a very, very strong player. He's played on multiple. He was on the 2015 Irish mixed team that came second at Euros. He played on the 2016 Irish men's team that went to WGC. He's a very strong player.
So looking to get this dump off, throws it up. Oh! And almost got there on the second attempt. GB under 24 looking to break for the 4th time in a row. Vassell on the disc. I've lost to him many a time indoors. Let's see how well he can do outdoors. He is a former Oh!
Tyg Bogan got up over the pile there. He's an Irish under 24. He'll be looking to make a stamp against the GB counterparts he'll be playing against at Worlds this summer. But unfortunately, the second effort gets come up with by the GB lads.
Sam Murphy coming down with the long disc. He's got acres of time. See if he can get open here in the corner. I think there's a call there for contact on the mark.
Oh, and I don't think he realised he's a lefty.
that's the second one of those dumps that's gone astray from Ranelagh in this point.
And number 0 here, I think it's Ross Nugent. He's really commanding the offense, throwing really smoothly in this wind and being able to hit receivers downfield that Ranelagh just don't seem to be able to do at the moment.
He's certainly very confident in his throws. Sam Murphy on the disc now. It's been brought back.
Oh, and this is seems a little ticky-tack call. It was a floaty disc, went over a couple of receivers' heads, and it's always hard to talk about one of these foul calls when it's a bit of a pile-up and people are just kind of not expecting where the disc is going to come in. So we'll see how this is resolved here.
Yeah, I'm not sure that there was a huge amount that could be done. It looks like he's going to retain the disc, though.
We'll see if he looks to Ferdia here, yeah.
And just turfs it. I mean, sometimes the disc just doesn't lie. Ooh. Another call there. I think there was contact made, but
there was, yeah.
I thought he'd already dropped the disc. We'll see how the players decide how this is going to be resolved.
I mean, I'd expect that this kind of level and the level of contact teams would have been playing with so far, I would have expected maybe not a foul call on that one.
So, if, like, with all this standing around, though, with these calls, they're going to need some energy. So Red Bull, bring in the energy to Tournament HQ.
This is definitely 30 seconds at this point. I'm hoping they'll resolve this. Yeah,
it
just send it back.
To me.
And that's all right. I mean, they're going to contest things sometimes. I think it's nice that they recognize the time limits and eventually got it moving.
Not every... It's all going through this number 0.
Yeah, Ross
Nugent. Into the end zone. Gets the D. Ranelagh getting the disc back, but with a full pitch to go up.
Yeah, and they really haven't so far in this game shown any ability to string a large number of passes together. I've no doubt that they can. We've seen them do it in other games. They just haven't gotten started here yet. So let's see if Ferdia Rogers, previous under-24 captain, can marshal the offense up the field here and get it in.
So Ranelagh setting up in a host stack, sending someone deep, not coming off, back into their own end zone. Got to be patient here.
And I think you're seeing a bit of a look that we saw in 2017 Irish Nationals, where Ferdia Rogers and Binchy were able to get a lot of resets to each other, although Binchy went upfield there and it ends up in a hook.
GB under-24s get the disc back. He looks like he's looking for a specific shot. Trying to get the dump off now.
Oh, and there's a clash of bodies. I think that was just someone slipped, maybe. They just kind of fell into each other, but good to sort it out. Hopefully get the move on soon.
Yeah, I don't think it affected the play, so
no.
This should just stay where it is. GB U24 looking for their 4th break in a row. The cell on the disc. In the swill.
Oh, it's up. Oh, and they come down with it again.
With it. Oh, it looks like there's an injury. Looks like he's got a nosebleed or something. Who's that coming into the game? Nathan Sanders of the University of Bristol, picking the disc up in this very crucial point.
And I really want to see Ranelagh put some pressure on. They've, I think, been trying to sag off into the lanes, stop upfield motion, but the result has been a lot of easy dumps here for the under-24 team so far in this game. And they've, in fairness to them, despite the win, have been able to take those passes and complete them more often than not.
They've definitely been thrown with confidence, and, well, with these throws, it looks like they're right to be confident. They're just looking very clinical. Sanders on the disc. Oh! That's a big D. And Ranelagh getting the disc on the high side of the wind. If they're looking to, you know, spread it deep, this is the sort of area that they'd be looking to put it from.
Definitely, and that was Tyg Bogan again, really coming out strong here against his under-24 British counterparts. He'll be representing Ireland this summer.
Dara Kletcher with the disc. Just doesn't quite get there, but Ranelagh putting the GB under-24 men into coffin corner.
Yeah, and that is Dara Kelleher's favourite receiver. Him and Luke, both from Cork, started playing with Rebel, both of them. Dara Kelleher actually started playing in UL, but they both played together in Rebel, and they love throwing to each other. Dara Kelleher is a huge hooker, especially on his forehand side. He loves putting it out in front of the speedy Luke.
Just wasn't quite exactly the throw. Ross Nugent picking up the disc again. Still got that hose stack happening. Looks downfield. Is that going to come in?
Ooh.
He made a great effort on it. But I don't think the Ranelagh player got a touch on the disc. Did the GBU24 player? He's claiming that he did, because that's going to be key for where this disc is coming back in.
That is, and it's uncontested.
It's an uncontested foul.
That is a great play to be able to hold position and have any hope of getting that disc. He's a smaller man there, going up against huge Dara Kelleher. The disc was coming in blady. I don't know if he would have caught it anyway, but I mean, he had a play, and Dara Kelleher took the chance at that play away from him.
So looking at the end zone set now, looks like they're still running in, moving into the vertical stack. Seems to have slowed down slightly on the downfield. Gives it to Nathan Sanders. Looks upfield.
Ooh, and they're just getting some nice open unders here. Oh, and that's a great cut.
Unlucky not to be found on that one. Looking infield, looking for a dump. Just about gets there.
Ferdy Rogers getting tight on the mark now.
Still not quite getting in. Finally get off the sideline, giving themselves options. It's quite clustered. And that's another break. 4 breaks in a row for GV under-24. Sounds like that they've been taking their full film nutrition, Irish Wellbeing Fitness Nutrition range.
And this is interesting. Will Ranelagh take another time out here? I mean, after the last 2 breaks, I think they definitely tried to take timeouts, calm themselves down a bit, and maybe get some offense flowing. But at this point, I don't know if they're out of timeouts or they'll even want to take a 3rd one in a row. It's quite a tough position they've put themselves in.
They really have dug themselves into the hole, and I'd have almost expected it to be going the other way. You know, it's early in the cycle for the U24 players. They might not have played with each other like a huge amount, but the Ranelagh team, you know, they've played together a long time. I'd have expected them to really be coming out of the gates hard.
Yeah, so let's see these lines here. You've got Feely back on the line. Feely's recently moved away from Dublin. He was down in Cork for a long time, moved up to Dublin, coached Ranelagh for 2 seasons, and has now moved to London. So Maybe we'll see him in a Clapham jersey at some point. Who knows?
Could do. The other side, GBU24 now putting it down. Player from Birmingham giving the pull. That's a great pull in these conditions. Matthew Feely on the disc gives it out. Dave Ferguson. And it's Sam Murphy again, big man in the weirdly suddenly windless conditions.
Yeah, it's really died down here, and you're seeing Ranelagh just get a few passes together, get a bit of offense, and maybe that's the change they needed, you know, maybe just a chance to get some easy flow and get them moving up the pitch.
There was a pick called, not like, he did come in with a serious head of steam. I don't think he's particularly happy with the call, but
I mean, it's always hard on one of those break throws where you're kind of, you go into the break side and you feel like you should be open there anyway. Your thrower has made a good throw, a nice OEO around the mark, and yeah, it's hard. But you got to trust the other player on the other side is honest about the fact that they are picked and they were taken away from a chance on the play.
So the disc has gone back to the thrower. Number 99, Sam Murphy, formerly of DCU, Austin Sol, Gravity 3, and Sandjob. Looking to get free, can't quite get there. Oh, and Ranelagh finally on the board. Cormac Bork getting the disc on the full extension layout. Had to have been on a high stall as well.
Oh, and Feely there just nailed a beautiful IO flick. It wasn't quite perfect, but it had enough float into that wind and enough IO that it wasn't lifted away with the crosswind.
With that, we're going to get our first look at this GB under-24 O-line.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, certainly in some of these windy games, it's almost easier to come out on defense, get some turns and put pressure on and just run with your legs instead of having to think about, you know, nailing perfect throws. And then once you get some momentum on that defensive side, you can just, you know, your jitters are out and you just get to play some offense. So maybe now Ranelagh have put one in, they can start putting some pressure back on the under-24 boys.
Yeah, I'd say that there's almost more pressure on this under-24 O-line now. You know, your defense has put your 3 breaks up. You just need to sort of hold your offense. So it's really going to be about minimizing mistakes from here. The Ranelagh defense, I feel, can really afford to go out and, you know, play with a bit more, you know, a lot of energy. Just try and make some plays because you've got yourself in a hole, so you've got to just find that spade that's going to dig you out of it.
Yeah, and they've certainly got a defensive specialist on the line in Alan Pearce. He's long been a deep defender in Irish Ultimate, and he's certainly very, very fast. I know from playing with him recently. He's a quick, good deep defender who gets blocks.
Really good pull from Ranelagh there, putting them down on the downwind side. Looking upfield. Catches it on the second attempt. Under-24. Pick there, but it looks like he's retracted it.
I think he's just decided he only gets to catch up instead of sending the disc back.
Looks like they've got a one-on-one matchup at the top of the screen, though. Oh, caught in the air. Ooh. Comes down with it.
Ranelagh doing a really good job here of forcing that O-line to just keep resetting the disc, keep taking little throws into this wind, not giving them too much upfield.
The yeah, they have really been struggling to find the upfield shots, but they're moving it up now near the brick mark. Oh, and that's a beautiful IO. Just a shame that the receiver wasn't quite there. Ranelagh D-line get their turn. Can they punch it in for the break back? It's a big disc.
Oh, so close.
Sends it back all the way. Number 19, Aidan Kelly. who normally plays Apparel, just couldn't quite bring that one in.
I think that was actually Matthew Feely there. They might have the same jersey on, but little Matthew Feely, not usually a deep threat. He's a great handler, some fantastic throws, but nearly saw him getting on the end of it there.
U24 just can't quite get that disc into hand.
And that's great work from Ranelagh again. You saw Ferdia Rogers just peel off the downwind handler and just sprint into the lane to stop an under there. That just forced GB to have to go sideways and have to complete more throws.
Can't quite connect on the inside throw there for Ranelagh. They've got them, you know, where they need them. They're able to generate these short field turnovers, but doesn't count for anything until they can get the score in.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I think Ranelagh have been forcing backhand.
Yeah, it looks
maybe.
like they've been forcing more into the wind, but it's quite a flat force.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision.
Yeah, because I would say traditional logic says that you force with the wind and just try and pin them on the sideline. It seems to be working for them though. That's their third turn of this point.
Yeah.
Another on the high side of the wind now. Looks like our initiating cut is going to be Dara Keller. Finds the disc. Oh, that's a beautiful throw.
It's a great look though. I mean, Feely set up that with a nice high release backhand. A nice look into with the wind there to keep it up high and give it time to float to the tall Dara Kelleher. Just unfortunate on the second shot.
U24 moving down this high sideline. It's all open side, it looks like. Comes in, now knocking on the door. Oh, that's a really smothering mark. Oh, ooh, that's a big point block.
And that's Alan Pearce coming up with it. Oh, Dara's going to put that.
And he's got to put that. It's number 13, Alan Pearce, under it. Makes the grab.
Alan Pearce. Ooh, and a lovely leading pass.
And he gets it. That's Ferdia Rogers, formerly of Sockeye, getting the score. That's a break back. And if I'm GVU24, that's got to sting, you know.
Oh, we can see the replay here on the monitor. It's a beautiful try out into space from Alan Pearce. That was a nice weenie arm play there from the Ranelagh boys where, you know, you don't quite have a strong enough arm to get it to the end zone, and you set up that second cut with going one way, immediately turning and heading the other way, and you can get a lot of joy out of that short field quick continuation off a hook.
Yeah, I think that's got to really sting for the under-24 boys. You know, your D-lines put your 4 points up, and now you concede one on the defense, and then you go and get broken. It's exactly what you don't want to happen.
Yeah, and if I'm Ranelagh here, I really want GB to send out their O-line again. Their D-line came out, showed that they could do it against the Ranelagh team, and if I'm Ranelagh, I'm hoping that O-line comes out again and feels that pressure of having given up a break and having to come out and try and, you know, fight back and hold again.
It's not the tallest line that the GVU24 boys are sending out. It's going to be interesting to see how they try and play through this.
Yeah, and Ross Nugent is on that line there. He was a guy we were talking about earlier and definitely impressed me in that defensive run, just stringing passes together, and his throws didn't really seem to be that affected by the wind when everyone else was struggling.
And that's always the mark of the great throwers.
Yeah.
You know, if they can throw it in the calm and in the wind.
Yeah, but this is a big D-line from Ranelagh. I mean, they've got Ferdia out there. They've got Luke out there, always good for a run-through block in a game. They're coming out with a lot of speed and a lot of height, and we'll see if they can have success again.
GVU24 setting up in their host stack, and that disc is all the way into the car park.
I think that's something we might end up saying a lot at this siege.
They needed the bigger walks on this side.
I think they've gone to get the same disc, have they? Oh, someone's bringing it from the car park. So do you know if this GB side are going to any other tournaments, warm-up tournaments throughout the year, or is it?
I believe that they entered Windmill. I can't remember if they got a place on that. And then there's another one in Europe if they didn't get into that. Certainly an interesting way of looking at it. Oh, and the disc goes down. Ranelagh with the chance to break back again.
That was Ross Nugent showing the effect of the commentator's curse, where he lavished him with praise and he immediately threw quite a nice break, but unfortunately a little too hot for the receiver.
Flashing into the lane, just getting the disc. Now this O-line seems to have worked a bit better, but that is quite overthrown. Ranelagh get the disc back.
Yeah, it's always an interesting decision to take a deep shot against a tall Tig Bogan. I believe he's 6'6", joint tallest man in Irish Ultimate at the moment. So an interesting decision to put that one up to him.
I mean, I've played enough indoors against Eddie Mason to really know that you do sometimes just need to break the receiver. Like, I've been skied into history enough times by him to know. Big deep shot coming off though. Getting the disc on the sideline. Can the U24 boys set up effectively? This Ranelagh defense seems to be playing quite under. Another shot just not quite coming off of this U24 O-line.
Yeah, but I think that's a good shot. I mean, they got the disc into hands of someone that it seems like they want trying the disc. He's been taking a lot of their shots. And when you get the disc in a windy game into your best thrower's hands and you have it in motion, I mean, it's not the worst thing to just put something up there. Unfortunately, the wind took that one, but they're down this end of the pitch now.
So that's Vadia Rogers on the disc again. That's a huge bid. GB getting the disc on the O-line. Ross Nugent on the disc. Looking for a receiver. It's very cluttered. And almost. Ooh, I'm not sure I agree with that call.
We'll see how this is handled now. Definitely Sam does not look happy at all with that call. Hands to the head immediately afterwards.
It looks like, I mean, there was a signal for a retraction, but whether it's a retraction or an uncontested. It looks like that's a turnover.
And that's great spirit there from under 24s. It's easy after someone reacts strongly to change your opinion, but they got that sorted out nice and quickly and pretty fairly.
Looking to get the disc off the sideline. Almost falling over on the mark. That's a swilly disc. Comes down with it though.
Oh, and Ranelagh are starting to attack the high side of that field with some breaks. Let's see if they can keep that going.
Ooh. Looks like a slight miscommunication between the handler and the receivers there. Giving the GB24 boys the disc on around halfway. Low side of the wind as well.
And Ranelagh are sticking with a straight up mark here. They haven't gone to force down onto that sideline, even though it's on the downwind side. They're just going completely straight up.
Great feet from Nugent there. Looking up the line again and back inside. U24 seems to be able to move the disc quite well. And finally, on the fourth time of asking, getting that disc in. I think that was an important hold for the O-line.
We can see on the replay there, it's just floated up over Cormac Burke's head, and he just saw it a little bit too late maybe to have a play in it. A little bit of a lucky roll of the dice there, but fair play for them for getting that hold in.
Looks like one of the teams has called a timeout again. If I was to guess, I would say GVU24s, but I don't know, with a hold there, it's probably not what I'd have done. I think it's just, you know, making sure that they've got the D-line plan, you know, in their heads, get it right.
Yeah, sometimes good to, I don't even know if they called a timeout there. I think maybe they just brought everyone in together really quickly, had a few quick words, got everyone together, and then get back on the pitch again and try and get another score here against this Ranelagh team.
So it's another fairly tall line, actually, from the GVU24 boys. Is there anyone particularly to keep an eye on from this Ranelagh line?
I think Ferdia could be important on this point. He's a lefty who's got a very nice around lefty backhand. And in this crosswind going in that direction, his ability to break the mark around with that left hand could be very useful to the Irish team.
And that's not a brilliant pull from the GVU24. Sat up in the wind, and now it's back near pretty much on their own brick mark. Ranelagh going straight into their end zone set. Binchy on the disc.
And Enna Kelleher, Dara Kelleher's younger brother, a very fast player. I think the pick was, he was the second last person in the stack there that got in the way, but gave the GB player a blank stare. He's nodding up at me there now.
I think they're just trying to agree on where they're supposed to set up now. Because you want to avoid these picks, you know, picks after picks after picks. Kept up.
And though with a beautiful big swing to his brother.
Oh, and that's a huge D coming out from... That's a huge D coming out from Andy Kay of Loughborough, also plays emo. Trying to get free up the line. Oh, gets that breakout. Oh! Was he looking for that D? Or?
I think Tig Deavy just stuck a hand there, saw the disc coming up and got it. Oh, and Ferdia gets a lovely around break there again.
If that's down, that's the conservation of greatness.
I'm not sure. Will we get a replay on that? That was very close. It'll be really hard to tell on this. And they let it.
It looks
they
like
let
they're
it go.
saying that it's down. That's good spirit, because especially on those close calls, trying to get that break, you know, trying to keep the hold even. You know, it's important to try and keep that going. And then GB just hoof it down, and then Ranelagh have to get all those yards again.
Yeah, and they're putting Ferdy on this downwind sideline. Hopefully he can break it off that sideline and get some motion going. I thought it's interesting that Ranelagh seem to have changed their strategy on the force. They're no longer just going with a straight up. Binchy certainly to start off was setting up with a 45-degree backhand force. So maybe they're saying, you know, we're going to take away a bit more of your resets and you guys will have to throw it deep, and we're ready for that.
Just Ranelagh not quite looking like they have all these throws dialed in. It's early in the season. There's quite a few discs going to ground. Ranelagh looks like they're forcing still more upwind than downwind.
And that's definitely a hard throw for that lefty, throwing that flick with a bit of touch to someone coming under from downfield.
Ooh, almost gets the D, and then he's back on the force very quickly. Under 24 looking to get off the sideline. Finally gets the disc up there.
Ooh. Ranelagh are getting very close on a lot of these discs. Hopefully they can get one of these bids on target. But I think we've seen one from Liam Fletcher. We've seen one from Matthew Feely, and let's see if someone else can get in on this.
Yeah, I mean, fingertips just not quite getting there. Finally generate the turn. Throw not coming to the deep cutter.
Oh, but it's completed anyway. Retract your call.
Yeah, looks like they're playing on. It was Tyder Deavy.
I believe it's Tig Deavy. Tig Deavy. It's just an interesting Irish spelling on that one.
So Ty Deavy picking up that disc, coming in. Doesn't look like there's a lot going on downfield for him on this stall 0. But huge gust of wind there.
Oh, and that disc just popped down, and Ferdy is not happy with himself on that one. But see if they can play some D, get it back. Maybe get it back up this end of the pitch, and oh no.
So, player getting the disc now from Loughborough. I believe he's part of the team that has the longest unbeaten run in UK University Frisbee history. They went, I think it was 22 games unbeaten between the 2015 to 2017 seasons. That's a really smothering mark. Finally gets the around out. Oh.
I think
definitely got a piece on that,
yeah.
I think. He is. U24 get another break, 5-2 up. These have been some really grindy points though.
Yeah, they've been long. We're seeing a replay here. He just gets open with a hesitation cut to that front cone. I think he was being guarded by Liam Fletcher that whole point, and Liam got real close on a few Ds, got a touch on one, maybe just got a little tired at the end there, and he eventually squeaked free for a goal.
It's always going to feel bad as Ranelagh when you've got so close to getting those turns so many times. We're knocking on the door, disc at the front of the end zone, and just weren't quite able to put it in. It's got to be. It needs to be a big hold, I think, here for the Ranelagh O-line.
And we just heard some car horns there. Does that mean it's the soft cap, or maybe 5 minutes? 5 minutes. So Ranelagh are running out of time. They're definitely getting closer. They're getting closer and closer to getting more and more breaks, and they're slowing down this GB team. They're slowly changing their forces and just putting pressure on, but until now they haven't actually been able to convert that into a run of breaks.
Yeah, and really at this point, with soft cap fast approaching, they're gonna need to just be able to find something to start generating these turns.
Before you generate some turns, you need to put in your holds. So let's see if they can do it. They've been struggling to do all game and put in a clean offensive hold. Oh,
and that's exactly what they didn't need. A short field turnover, give them the disc, back to Nugent. Looking, GB now looking downfield. Looks like there was a call, pick call. It's getting to the end of the game, so don't you know that was a pick. Oh!
And Ranelagh really tightened up out of that pick call there, and they get the turn out of it.
Yeah, that was 99 Sam Murphy. Really huge bid on that. Big play. He's given his O-line the chance to convert, second time of asking. Looking to try and get off the sideline. Does Owen Binji, puts it to the end zone.
Oh no. That was almost a beautiful play, a nice leading up the line, and then just tried to fade that flick slightly over to the break side, put a little OI into it, but the wind just pushed it down onto a very tall defender from GB.
On a calm day, I think maybe that one comes off.
Yeah. A tight
24
play.
Has a lot of space in the end zone.
Oh
Calls the
no.
foul. There was quite a lot of contact in. I think that's a fair no contest.
Thought we were going to see a Callahan there for a second.
Yeah, for a huge beard. Didn't matter at all, but great fall.
Yeah, and that's Dave Ferguson on the bid. He loves to get off his feet. It's a great clip of him a couple of years ago in Siege. He nearly kicked the guy in the face because he was throwing his feet up so high to bid for something down low. He loves to get up off his feet.
So it's Joe Navani on the disc. He had a really nice student house for a while actually in Warwick. Oh, that's how you swing. That's textbook. You put it up in the wind and then have it come downfield. Anthony Vassell almost had too much time there. Catches it uncontested on the second time of asking. This is quite a poachy defense from this Ranelagh row line. Ooh!
I don't even know if that poaching was intentional or, you know, they were just a bit tired. GB also a bit tired, and it's worked out for them.
As I think just a slight lack of concentration, as it always happens, as you begin to get tired towards the end of the game. Ranelagh move the disc off the sideline.
And that's two nice passes. I hope they can keep this moving.
Oh, that's a beautiful IO. Looking in, knocking on the door. Oh! He's going to be kicking himself for that one. It was in the basket, just couldn't quite get there. Now this Ranelagh row line have to go for defense again.
And we're seeing the replay here.
Vassell's very poached. Didn't see it. Oh, that's not the throw you're looking for, though.
I think you missed that there watching the replay. GB under 24s brought it in at the front and threw a really blady backhand that just didn't fly in the wind, but it's all the way up here now in the Irish end zone, but Ranelagh have the disc. See if they can work it back up.
It's getting to the point in the game where GB U24 just hucking the disc and extending the time is almost part of the strategy, you'd have to think.
Yeah. That is a wide mark. Ranelagh working it up. Dave Ferguson gets an under, see if he can get it off the line. But throws it to no one. Ferdy had gone up the line.
Yeah, that miscommunication. It's early in the season. I don't think we're going to be seeing a team as clinical as Ranelagh doing that normally. And GBU24 call the timeout. I think get the water on, get it in your lungs. Our water sponsor this weekend is Ishka, keeping our players hydrated.
Yeah, thank God for that. That was a really interesting point actually. We started out with Binchy throwing an inside flick into the ground, and Binchy is one of the most incredibly confident players. He later on in the same point up at the end zone line gets a swing off the line and immediately just throws that same inside, but this time throws it absolutely perfectly and it nearly results in a score for Ranelagh. That sort of confidence is something I've never had. Yeah, just to keep taking those things on.
Interesting to see the slightly different ways that the teams are going about this timeout. Ranelagh, every player in the squad is in there, seems to be taking part in the conversation. With the GB squad, it's the 7 on the line in one group, and then everyone else having a chat outside that.
Yeah, and that might be a reflection of kind of the setup of the two teams. I think GB are here with a coach, whereas Ranelagh, although they have a few players kind of helping out in coaching roles, it's more of a kind of a team working together. They don't have a head coach kind of main role this year. They're more of a group of players helping out is what I've heard. So that could be a reflection of that. few more voices, whereas GB, they're all in and they're listening to one person.
So it looks like it's going to be Nugent picking up, trying to see if he can get the pass, get the disc pass for Dia Rogers. Ranelagh just looking like they're trying to find their matchups. Or is it? Or is it a zone?
No, I think it's matchup. You've just got Binchy. You've got the two far wing defenders helping out deep so that these two near cutter defenders can really play quite tight on those unders.
So the disc coming in. Oh, Vassell with the catch in traffic. Looking upfield. 2 bids in a row. Can they make it 3? And it's Nugent.
On it goes to the end zone. Can he keep it in bounds? No, he can't.
Just goes out.
That was great work, though. They're really getting those around flicks off, just attacking that high side repetitively. And whereas that one, you know, just floated a little out. They're getting close to putting this in and making it an even harder game for Ranelagh.
Former Sockeye player on the disc, gets it off the sideline. Floats it. Ooh, that's a big bid by Nugent.
Yeah, and that is a fantastic play against one of Ireland's best players. Yeah, Ferdia not used to getting blown up like that. But we'll see here that Ranelagh are poaching out on this kind of isolation end zone set. We'll see if they can deny Ross Nugent something here and put some pressure on there. They'll have to find some matchups here now.
Oh, can't quite get it down.
Oh no.
How spirited of them to just give it back though. That's about the first mistake on the throw that I think we've seen Nugent throw today though.
Yeah, that's true. He's been excellent. So Binchy walking up to the line, confident as ever. Ranelagh have it all the way down here. Let's see if they can, you know, string some passes together and maybe set up a good looking deep shot. They haven't really struck deep since the start of the game. I don't know if they've completed any of them.
Yeah, I think it's something that in these conditions you always need to be looking for, because I mean, with the wind, it's going to be difficult for them to bring it back, and even if you're not completing them, you still need to be looking for them. As we say that, number 23, Dave Ferguson was looking deep there. That's a big swing, and it's another short field turn for Ranelagh. I think there was
and I think there's a stall call, yeah.
Oh, that's even worse for them. Instead of getting the disc yards out from the sideline, they're getting the disc on the cone on the high side.
Okay. Oh yeah. So we saw Ranelagh really struggling with that dump there. I think Binchy was motioning that he wanted Ferdia to go up the line for that inside look that he loves. And Ferdia just had a different idea in his head. That's very much an early season thing, I think. You know, as this season goes on and they practice that and they reset regularly to each other, they'll iron that out. But GB, you know, able to take advantage of that. Oh, they've left someone unmarked. And I think time might have gone during that point. And we heard a second car horn, so I think that might be time, which means, seeing as they finished that point, I think maybe they add one.
Yeah, I think we're playing the game to wait now. And this is going to be a...
Say the next game.
So, coming up next, we've got Vision against Trinity. Two teams from Ireland. And just to say thank you to our sponsors, Falche Ireland. We'd like to thank one of our major sponsors for providing tournament with support and funding that's enabled to come us to you free to view through the YouTube channel, promotes tourism in Ireland and helps spread awareness of Siege. Also, thank you to Bank of Ireland for providing the support and funding as well. Bank of Ireland are heavily involved in student life at the University of Limerick and provide support to a variety of University of Limerick clubs and societies. And Five Ultimate, Five provided kit of the highest quality for quite a few years now, and I think there's a lot of people out there who really do swear by the brand.
Yeah, and thank you to all those sponsors. It's great to have free live streaming at an event like this. Certainly, if I'm ever at home, I love to watch these things. Yeah, I think we're going to be wrapping up this stream soon.
Yeah.
Although there seems to be one more point coming out. Ranelagh are on the line. Yeah, what's our next game is Trinity against Vision, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Vision is a Merseyside club. And Trinity is a Dublin-based university over here. Trinity have come out with quite a strong squad. I think they're hoping to do quite well. They have a number of under-24 players, 6 Irish ones, a German under-24 men's player, and a Spanish under-24 mixed player. So they're really coming out here trying to...
That sounds like a real squad, and it sounds like they're going to be at the really business end of this tournament.
I mean, that would be the hope, yeah.
So, looking at this, unless we see like an absolute comeback for the ages here, it looks like Ranelagh are going to fall to the U24 boys. And as a squad, how do you sort of build yourself back up from this sort of loss that I think Ranelagh would have come into not really expecting to take?
Yeah, I think it's an early season game, so to some extent, as experienced players, they probably have a little bit of a short memory at this tournament. They've come here and they've lost games before and they've gone on to play very well in the regular season. So I don't think they'll think about it too much, but it's certainly not something you want to happen.
This GBU24 team, they seem to have all the throws. Like, just moving the disc fairly freely. Oh, that's a good grab there. Finds the receiver at the Ranelagh brick mark now. Puts it into the ground. Ranelagh have the opportunity now to break.
Yeah, and the GB under-24s finally mess up on one of those throws. They really have, as you said, been clinical with their throws. Something that hasn't been hard to do. The wind is really gusting, and we've seen Ranelagh struggle, as they do again.
I think it's probably been, like, the stat of the game is the amount, like, the throws per possession. GBU24 seems to be able to complete them just that much easier, both short and long, while Ranelagh seems to have been struggling a bit. Good grab by Nugent there at the ankles. Trying to get off this sideline now. Puts it out into space for Sell. A lot of time on the disc. His Birmingham teammate falls.
Ooh.
The disc is just out of reach. Just out of reach of Finn Campbell. Also number 12, just to make our job as difficult as possible.
He nearly got that. I think if he'd changed his feet just a little bit earlier, he would have been able to get a good bit on that disc.
So Ranelagh back on the disc, still on their worst corner. Looks up, that's a big shot. And it's Nugent again. He's really been the player of the game.
He really has been.
Commentator's curse in full show.
That was a great force, I think, from Feely. I mean, Ross Nugent has been throwing that inside backhand really low the entire time, and you saw Matthew Feely there just go with his feet instead of his hands and just put a little bit of pressure on it and made it a little bit harder for Ross Nugent to get that throw out.
This Feely-Nugent matchup does actually look like one of the better ones. Both two players with like a lot of club experience. Because Feely because I met Feely when I played with Ballincollig at Open Tour 1 a few years ago in the UK, and Nugent plays for Fire of London, a team that I think they're certainly starting to rebuild. They lost quite a few players last year for Worlds.
Yeah, they headed over to the US Open, right?
I think they did. That would have been a wonderful catch if you brought that down, blading into him.
That was a prayer. So, yeah, let's see if Ranelagh can get a bit of motion up this sideline. Last time Freddie Rogers finally managed to weasel his way free up the line and put a deep shot out to space, but Ross Nugent was just able to clean that up. So let's see if they can do something a little bit different this time. Maybe work it off this downwind sideline and take a shot from somewhere else.
It's interesting to see that Ranelagh have moved into a vertical stack where at the start of the game they were in a horizontal, and that's a drop that I think he's going to be pretty sad about, Odd Ender Keller.
Yeah, that's a that's a really unfortunate drop. I mean, you can't ask for more. Oh, and that's...
Oh, don't you know that's a travel?
Ranelagh finally got it off that low sideline, and just like that, a drop gives the disc away after they'd just done all the hard work.
So, looking to get the disc in. Can they get it? Oh, good snag. Plucks it out of the air, gives it back to him, and that's the game. 8-2. I think a pretty decently sized upset there.
Yeah, I think that's game, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, that's game. So, my name's been Toby Howarth. With me today was Kieran. And that is us wrapping up for Siege of Limerick. Coming up next, Vision versus Trinity.
Thank you very much.